Alright everybody, welcome back to MAPOP Sports. This is Grandy. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. If this is your first time here, appreciate you guys stopping by the channel, checking this video out. And today, obviously, it's a Monday. I'm super busy, shipping everything from orders on Saturday and Sunday. So that's the thing. I think I did a video yesterday, just kind of talking about my Mondays are pretty busy in regards to shipping orders out, selling and not having the post office open on Sundays. So I kind of hold off on, shipping on Sundays till Monday. So all orders from like Saturday afternoon all the way through the evening to Sunday evening. So you can just imagine it's like about 2 days worth of orders I got to package and ship out. So that's kind of busy on that. But I wanted to talk about today just a quick video in regards to pricing cards out, whether this goes for both ways. This is how I do it. If you guys know a better way to do it, please let me know. However you guys do it, people comp things or whatever, price things differently. So whether you're selling a card or whether you're purchasing a card. So I don't typically buy cards by the singles anymore. Unless it's like a pure PC that I'm gonna keep forever, ever, then yes, I might price that card out. But I still price things out on a lot basis. So what I normally do is kind of figure out what the lot's going to be overall time-wise, how much it's going to take me to, spend the time to list each individual card, all that stuff. I kind of take everything into consideration. So first things first, I'll show you guys how I price things. But before I even do that, I want to talk about the comps and everything and what fees and stuff you have to take into consideration. At least I do. So when somebody's selling a card in person, primarily there's no fees, because if you sell it online, there's eBay fees. So you got to take into consideration many aspects of when you're pricing a card out. So let's just say a card is the last one that's sold on eBay. Let's just say eBay, because that's primarily about 90% of the comps where people get their comps from is from eBay in the last sales or the last several sales. So what people normally do is just go buy off the last couple sales. And let's just say a card was averaging around $100. So if a card is selling for $100 on eBay, let's say you see the same card at a show or at a shop or whatever the case may be. So my thoughts are, a lot of people who are buyers, they want to get the card for the lowest price possible. It's just human nature. You don't want to overpay. Nobody does, all right? So it's simple as that. However, as a seller, where you're going to, where's your meeting point where you can sell that card? I understand how much you put into that card. People don't care. At the end of the day, people don't care if you paid $1,000 for that card. If everybody's only willing to pay $100 for it, it's freaking only worth $100. It's simple as that, guys. Nobody cares if you put $1,000 into it. So let's just say this. So now you're at the, you're at the show or you're in person or whatever, and as a seller, you feel like that card to you is worth $150. You got a guy comes up to you and he's willing to give you $70. So, and the card, like I just said, the last couple times on eBay has been selling for an average about $100. You as a seller, me as a seller may come down to, okay, well, I'll meet you at $100. Let's see the guy will buy it or not. So in the guy's eyes, the buyer's eyes, it's $100 on eBay. They came to this show. They probably paid for an entry fee possibly. They want to get a deal. They want to be lower than comp. So they may meet you at, let's just say $75, $80. They may say something like that. Like, that's my final offer, or that's the highest I can go. You as a buyer or you as a seller might be like, no, that's too low, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the last comp's at $100. You got to take in consideration 4 different things when you're the seller. It's just simple as that. Number 1, the eBay fees. You literally have to for instance, if that car is $100, that's 12.85% if you were to sell it on eBay. So you're literally already at about $88, okay, $87 of profit you would have made. That doesn't include also the 30 cents per transaction of eBay, the taxes and everything, all that stuff. You got to take in consideration, because you got to claim that as taxes and everything as revenue, as a business or whatever, as yourself, making money, because eBay, tracks that information. So, and then shipping, supplies, all that. Even if you charge the shipping, you still get charged that 12.5% from eBay. You still get all those fees. So, and then the hassle of packaging, shipping, the time it takes to do all that stuff, the time to list and all that stuff. All in all, when the guy is actually offering about $75, $80, is not that big of a difference of what revenue you're actually going to end up bringing in if you were to sell that on eBay for $100 if you were to list it. I understand you want to get the most maximal profit, but so when you're pricing that card out, you have to understand, all the fees and all the stuff that you're not having to deal with. So that's number one. Number two, now the buyer side, you also have to understand you're going to pay straight cash. There's no taxes. You're not paying taxes. If you're meeting him in person, you're paying him cash. You're not paying a tax. You're not paying a shipping fee. You're not waiting for it to be shipped to you. You're getting it right then and there. And so if he's willing to meet you around the $80, $90 mark, you gotta figure that out. Like maybe you can go up to $90 and you're still doing better because you're not paying the taxes. I mean, taxes, depending on where you're located, is like 9-10%. So 9-10% of $100 is already $10. So as a buyer, you understand, not only are you paying that $100, you gotta pay that $10, taxes, and then the shipping fees, all that, and then you don't even get the card for another couple of days. So you have to understand, all that stuff weighs in, weighs out. So that's why you have to, I feel like you have to understand as a buyer and as a seller, the benefits when you're selling face-to-face and just understanding the prices of comps. A lot of people just looks at the bottom line. That's what the price is. They don't look at the bigger picture, whether you're a buyer or a seller. So I'm not knocking on either one. I'm just, being upfront with you guys. You should look at the bigger picture. Oops, sorry. The bigger picture when you're in either situation. So that's how the prices can be up and down. It can be all over the place sometimes. But if you're like I say, if you're going by the base of the eBay comps and everything, a card that's for $100 selling on eBay for $100, in my eyes, you guys as a buyer and a seller should probably meet anywhere between about the $80 to $90 range. And I feel like both parties come ahead. So if that makes sense, I don't know. I could be wrong. You guys let me know how you guys feel about that. But I mean, in my eyes, both people are getting a good deal out of that. I feel like the seller, if he can sell it at about $80 to $90 range of a $100 card that's selling comps wise, I mean, you're not dealing with the shipping, you're not dealing with the taxes that you're gonna have to end up paying. You're not paying the eBay selling fees, all that stuff. And you don't have to waste your time to ship and list. And then vice versa, as the buyer, you don't have to pay the additional taxes. You don't have to wait for your card. You don't have to pay the additional, shipping fees and all that other stuff. So you gotta weigh those two out. So that's how pricing wise should work in my opinion. But you guys already know how it usually happens. But some people, wants that card, they're willing to overpay. Some people who love that card and feel like that price is way too low, and they're gonna hold on to their pricing, which is fine. But like I just said, that's how I feel is the fairest way, is that if both parties kind of look at the prices of the actual card, selling online versus in person. Now, how do I price cards, the sell on eBay, and how do I price cards for a lot? Let's take a look real quick. We go here. So I usually go, currently I use two things. I use eBay and I use, 130 point for comp. So let's take a look at this card right here. Let's talk about CJ Stroud. This is the base card. This is just his base Prism. So nothing crazy, but this is rookie. So let's just look up the pricing and just kind of see where it's at right now. So if you look at CJ Stroud on 130 point Prism, and what is it? The 339. That's the card number. So let's go look it up. And we pull it up. So there are several right here. You can see just the base. So let's go. Let's just pull for the last 3 sales. For the last sales, looks like was $27. The one previous right before that was $20.50, and then the one right before that one was for about $30. So let's go 20. What did I say? 27 plus 20.5 plus 29.98. All right. So divide that by 3. So on average, it's about anywhere between $25 to $30. Okay, that's where I would say the last 3 sales have been for this base car. So how would I? And I also use eBay, by the way, guys. If you look up eBay, the last sales, just kind of I go through that also just to confirm the prices on that. All right, so let's just say this card is about anywhere between $25 to $30. So this is how I would price it when I'm listing on eBay. I would probably list this price around the $30.99 OBO, and maybe I might even list it around $29.99. Sometimes I might list it at $31.99. I would actually look at some previous, card, sales on this card also, because it might range within about $4 to $5. So what I would normally do, like I just said, I would list this card around like that. Depending on my mood, if I'm looking to move the card as soon as possible, I'd probably list it at $29.99 OBO. If I'm thinking that, this is a hot card, which I do, I believe this card is going to go up, especially when, the NFL season comes next year. So I might list it at around $31.99 and then, OBO or something like that, or $34.99. I wouldn't probably go up that high. I'd probably stay within comps as reasonable as I could. That's how I would do it. And then, depending on, it just depends. Let's just say somebody comes in with the best offer of $15 I'm gonna instantly probably rebuttal that as soon as possible and say, I wouldn't even say decline it. I would probably rebuttal it at like a $29.99. All right, if I have it listed at 31. So, and then I would see what they do, because they will either decline, accept, or they may rebuttal back at, hey, I'll give you, instead of that 10, not 15, maybe $20. Okay, so then I'm like, well, at least they're trying to work with me. Those who try to, let's just say they offered at $10 and then they go up to $11. Those type of people, I you know what? I'm sticking to my guns. I'll stick at that $29.99. I'm not going to go any lower. If they're not willing to work with me, because understanding, they can see what the prices are of this card, you got to be reasonable on that. So, but if they go up to like 20, you know what? Depending on how I feel, or if I am looking to make more revenue, make some sales and move some inventory, I might go down to 28, 27. So I'm a little bit lower than the comps, giving them a little bit of a deal. But bottom line, I probably wouldn't be going any lower than about the 25 mark. That's how I feel. I feel this card definitely at $25, you're getting a good deal, lower than some of the comps, and it's lower than the average of the last 3 sales, I feel like. So that's probably where I would be at, my lowest, and that's how I would price that card if I'm selling it on eBay. In person, as I was mentioning earlier, the situation might be a little bit different. I don't have to pay the eBay fees and all that stuff, so I might be able to go to $23, 20. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on the situation and the person I'm dealing with. If they're flexible, if they're willing to work with me versus lowball me or work against me, it's pointless, and then we're not going to be able to reach a fine line on that. So that's how I would price it, and that's how I would list it on my eBay store. I don't know how others do it. You guys let me know. Sorry. I keep knocking that. Sorry, guys. And it just depends. Everybody has their own ways of pricing things. I know people who take this card and probably list it at about $39.99 or $49.99, and then OBO, and then sometimes they will accept $20 offer, or sometimes they will just hold it because thinking that it's a $50 card and they're gonna wait till they get a $45 offer, which they may or may never get. So who knows? But they're not in a rush to move it, so it's their prerogative. They can do whatever they want with that card. They can price it however they want to price it. Now, if I was a buyer and I'm buying a lot, how do I take this information to justify how much I'm going to pay for that lot, or calculate that in? So in my eyes, so remember, I just showed you guys the comps on this from, for 130 point version wise, it's averaging about $25 to $30 for this card. If I'm buying a whole lot, let's just say I'm buying a lot of 500 cards or 1,000 cards. Okay, let's just say, just throw it in there. And this is one of the cards. Knowing that this card is around the $25 range, that I'm going to probably end up trying to sell it for. So I know I'm going to try this. That's the value of this card, around $25 to $30. Number wise, what I would put on that card, I would try to be around the, probably about the 60% of that specific card, the value of the card. If I'm buying a big lot from somebody, I'm literally taking all the work from them, from listing, from contacting them, selling anybody, and I'm going to take the majority of the workload because I'm going to break it down and sell it individually. They can do it if they want. Yes, they can make more money, obviously, per card, but then they got to find the right buyers. They got to take the time to list. They got to do it individually, ship it one by one. If they want to do that work, then they should. But if they're looking to move it in a lot, that's the reason why they're selling it in a lot, because they don't want to deal with that shit. They want to move it all at once. I would go 60% of whatever that card is and then add that into that lot. So let's just say, what is it? What is it? $25-ish dollars. So let's just go $25 times 60. So 60% of 20. So it's about the $15, $16 range. So I would estimate that card to be around like about $15. So whatever that lot is, all the other bigger cards, I would take, let's just say, like I said, is a 500 card lot. I would take, the first maybe 50 to 100 cards and price all those out individually to get kind of that pricing for that lot. And that's how I would do it. 60% of that, $15 for that card. People are like, oh my God, that's lowballing. Well, $15 for this card, imagine all the other cards. Who knows how much they're going to be. And like I just said, I'm the middleman. I'm taking all that workload off of them, taking that 500 cards, taking the 1,000 cards. They don't even have to deal with it. They're done. Hands are wiped clean. I pay them whatever at the 60%, and then I do my work. I go to listing on eBay. I pricing stuff out. I package and ship whenever the order comes, or sometimes I hold the inventory because the prices go up and down. So that's the thing too, when I'm buying a lot, is that you also have to keep in mind, man, some of these cars go up, go down, go up, go down. You just don't know. So that's why I feel like that 60% of whatever the value of that lot is, I feel like it's a really good number if you're buying a big lot, if you're taking it off, because it gives you a little bit of flexibility for cars to go up, go down, and you still have enough to make a little bit of profit. And then on top of that, you're buying bulk off of a guy or a lady who doesn't need to do any of that work. Most likely, they probably got these cards in a lot or in a break, and they're just trying to recoup some of their money, or they may have bought this lot. This is the thing, people who buy and sell lots sometimes buy the lot at their low end, or they lowballed somebody, or they may have paid 60% of their price of whatever I was going to give. So, and even if I give them that 60%, they still might make a little bit of profit. So that's how I would price it out, just kind of breaking it down a little bit. I know it's kind of a quick one, and that's just how I feel, how I would break it down, whether I'm buying, selling, listing. And, currently, is there a better way to price things? I know how everybody was. Back in the days, I used to go through a Beckett book, and whatever the price is, that's whatever the price is. We would go to the shop. Sometimes the shop would just tell you, nope, this is the price, and that's just because they said so. And that's just sucks, but at least now we have something to kind of go off of, kind of looking at the most recent sales, at least online wise. So that's what people go and price of. But then, like I said, there's also sometimes there's no comps. So how do you price cards with no comps? It just depends. If it's a 101, you technically can price it whatever the hell you want. Keep in mind, the higher you are, the more likely you won't be able to move the card. So it just depends on how fast you want to move the card, or you're looking to move your inventory. A lot of people just kind of, if it's a one-on-one, they would just kind of look at a different type brand of that card that's similar. Let's just say if it's like a a certain Prism 101 or something, you might go look up a National Treasure, maybe numbered out of 5 or something. Just kind of, if that's the closest you can get to that card of the 101, and if it's graded or whatever, you try to find the closest similar to that card and just kind of see where the comps is on that, and then you can base your pricing on that. But like I say, if you have a 101, you can price it however you want. If there is no comps of that specific card, of that grade, of the, if it's a graded card or whatever, you try to find whatever card as similar, as close as you can, just kind of base off the prices off that. That's how I would go off of it. And especially you'll see as sometimes you grade cards and you have a super low pop. Let's just say you grade a card, which I have a lot of those, and you might only have 3 cards of that population of that grade, and it might be PCs for those other 2, so you're the only one who's looking to even sell that card. So it's technically almost feels like a 101, but it's a super low pop card. I would go off of a different grade. Let's just say if you got the 10 and you saw one that sold for a 9, you just kind of base off the price of that. If it was a PSA 9, let's just say it sold for $20, maybe a 10. If you're the only one who's selling it, I mean, you technically can price it however you want, but I might price it at about 3 times that. So maybe I'd go at $60 for PSA 10 or something. It just depends on a player, depends on a card, depends on the demand for that player. I mean, it makes a difference if it's a Trey Lance or if it's a Tom Brady 10 or 9. You know what I mean? It makes a huge difference of the players and the situation and the pricing. So the other part, if they have comps, it's a lot easier for you to kind of base that off of. But the ones who don't have comps, those are the ones where it's situational, and it just depends on you as the seller. How motivated are you looking to sell, and stuff like that. One last thing before, I know this was supposed to be a short video, but it's ended up not. But one last thing is comps can be very tricky. The latest sales there's many avenues. What could happen is, number one, it could be, bidders who don't pay, non-paying bidders, non-paying auctions. So you gotta be real careful. And that's why try to go with the last 3 to 5 sales if you can, and just kind of average it out. That's what I would normally do. Try to go with the most recent sales, obviously, and just kind of base your best judgment of your value of that card on that. On top of that, you got to keep in consideration there's going to be one oddball of the prices. So out of 5, maybe 1 is super high, or vice versa. Maybe one of those might be super low. That might be an oddball where that person is just looking to get rid of it. They could care less, whatever they sell it for. But doesn't necessarily mean that should be based, your comps or the price of the value should be based because of that one oddball. And same thing if somebody paid a astronomical amount for a card, astronomical amount for a card, it's an outlier. So those ones you gotta, like I said, you gotta take that with a grain of salt. Those outliers, you can kind of put them into perspective, but most of the time the comps should be, they are normally within a couple dollars or $10-$20, and then depending on the card and everything. So there you guys go. I hope it helps you a little bit. I know there's more to it on the pricing and everything. Help me out, guys, if you guys have any better ideas or tips or anything like that. This is just what I'm currently using right now and currently doing. I know there's just so many different aspects. I mean, the demand, there's a huge supply. That all matters too. Like if there's a vast, like this card, there's going to be a vast amount of this card out there. So prices of that's going to come up, come down, who knows? It's just, you never know. And the pricing of cards changes daily, sometimes changes hourly if the player's playing and if they get hurt or they play really well. All that stuff, gotta take that all into consideration, guys. So long-winded answer of how to price stuff, whether you're a seller or a buyer, guys. I know is it complicated? Yes and no. I know that's a weird way to answer it, but it's yes and no, I feel like. So it's fun. I like it. I enjoy it. Other people kind of do too. So it's all part of business, part of the negotiation process, I feel like. So other than that, man, Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and if you guys like this stuff, feel free to subscribe. Do not forget, check out the eBay store. I put the links and everything is obviously in the description. Every little bit helps, guys. Go and make me an offer on those cards, as I was mentioning to you guys, and I'll help negotiate a deal, and we can meet in that fine line, hopefully. Other than that, if you watch this far and if you're not subscribed, I appreciate you guys even spending the time, like I said, checking this out. Hopefully somebody learned a little bit of something, and like I said, if you guys have any tips, feel free to reach out to me, comment, or just message me, guys. Other than that, man, appreciate you guys. Till next time.